Hello student. Student, here we discuss about business environment. So first we discuss it's in separate terms. First business and second is environment. A business may be defined as any activity direct toward procuring or acquiring wealth. It involved production and sales of goods and services. It required a certain investment. It aims to earning profit and it's subject to risk. Means business activities comprise of all economic activity related to production and exchange of goods and services for earning economic terms. And environment is anything and everything surrounding us. It consists of all the living and non-living things surrounding us, which means business environment refer to the aggregate of all the conditions, event and influence that surrounding and affect a business. Business environment consists of all the external and the internal factors which have an impact on the functioning, performance and decision making of a business. But why with the focus study of business environment? To knowledge of the business, to exploit opportunity of business, to identify of threat, to improve performance, to facing competition, to build company image and so on. That it is those factors which is affecting the business and that kinds we study about business environment. Business environment involves force that directly and indirectly influence an organizational capacity to market its product successfully. Now we discuss the type of business environment. These are various sources operating in the business environment. Those forces which are internal to a business and controllable in nature are known as internal factors, which operate in the internal environment of the business. Internal environment is generally audited by applying 5 M's: man, money, machinery, market and materials. The internal marketing environment consists of all factors that are internal to the organization, like company missions, visions and business object, company culture, company image, marketing strategy, technical capacity, managerial skills, finance and sales force, production and research and so on. Second is external environment. These are factors existing outside the business and are beyond its control to a large extent. The external business environment is consists again into micro and macro environment. Micro environment consists of those factors which have a direct and intimate impact on the firm. Example, suppliers and distributor of the firm. The micro environment is also known as task environment or operating environment. Certain factors like economic policies of the government, demographic factors, etc. affect the industry as a whole and is known as macro environment of the business. So first is micro environment. The micro environment or task environment encompasses those forces in the close surrounding area of an organization that influence its functioning. Even if it is external to an organization, micro factors need not affect all the firms in a particular industry is an equivalent manner. Some of the micro factors may be unique to a firm. It embraces the following factor. Micro environment is that external factor which are very close to company and have impact on value creation and the customer service. The major factors of micro environment are company, intermediary, publics, competitor, customer and supplier. So first we discuss suppliers. Suppliers of raw materials, components and semi-finished goods are very prominent for a firm. They operate as an environment force within the micro environment of the firm. Second is marketing intermediary. It includes the firm that assists the company in promoting, selling and distributing its goods to final buyers. They are operating in the micro environment. Next is customer. As far as any business firm is concerned, creation and maintenance of customer are almost important. A business principle depends on the realizing the needs, desire and taste of customers. Next is competitors. Even every organization has a competitive environment. Activities of a business should be adjusted according to the action and reaction of the competitors. And enterprises will be facing direct and indirect competition from any rivalry. A firm should monitoring the activity of the competitors in its micro environment and should accordingly. Next is public. Public refer to any cluster that has actual or potential interest in the business activities. Such cluster can exert influence on the business. Like that, growth of a consumer group may affect the working of new development business. Okay. Next is financiers. The term financiers include commercial banks, money lending institutions, private person, etc., who have lent money for business operation. In addition to the functioning capability, their policies and strategy, attitude, ability to provide non-financing assisting, etc., are vital. Next is regulatory. Regulators are unit in the task environment that have the authorities to control, regulate or influence on organizations, policies and practice. Government agencies are the main players of this environment. Next is strategic partners. They are the organization and individual with whom the firm is in an agreement or understanding for the benefit of the organization. Such strategic pattern may influence the organization activity in various ways. So all this factor is a part of micro environment which is directly affected the organization. Now we discuss macro environment. A company along with its micro environment situated in a bigger macro environment. This micro environment provides opportunity and poses treated to a firm. The macro processes are generally more uncontrollable and the success of a company dependent on its adaptability of the environment. A firm cannot exercise effective control on the factor of macro environment, and only the degree of adaptability it has to that particular environment can direct to it to success. External or macro or general environment consist of factors external to the industry that may have significant impact on the firm strategy. It consists of six broad dimensions. First is demographic, social culture, political and legal culture, technology, economic and global. First is demographic factor. Demographic factor involve age, sex, location, income, education, occupation, growth rate, birth ratio of customer. Second is social environment. The social environment of business include social factors like customer, traditions, values, beliefs, poverty, literacy, life expectation rate, etc. The social structure and the values that a society have a considerable influence on the functioning of business firm. For example, during fasting season, this is an increase in the demand of new cloth, sweets, fruits, flour, etc. Due to increase in literacy rate, the customer are being more conscious of the quality of the product. Due to change in the family conceptions, more nuclear family with single child concept have come up. They increase the demand of the different types of household goods. It may be noted that the consumption pattern, the dressing and the living style of the pupil belong to different social structure and cultural vary significantly. Next is legal environment. This include a set of laws and regulations which influence the business organization and their operations. Every business organization has abide by and work within the framework of the law. The important legislation that concern the business enterprises including Company Act 2013, Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, Industry Dispute Act 1972, Essential Commodity Act 2002 and so many more. Next is technological environment. Along with determine the destiny of an organization, technology can contribute to the economic and social development of a nation. Factors like the type of technology in use, the level of technological department, the speed with which new technology are adopted and diffused, the type of technology that are appropriated and the technology policy etc. has deep implication on the prospect of the business. Next is economical environment of business. Important economic factors are degree of economic development. Extent of development of a country's economy can exert influence on the business prosperity in many ways. Factors like nature and size of demand, government policy affecting business, etc. derive basically from the level of economic development of a nation. Economy can be classified into three as low income, middle income and high income countries on the basis of the degree of development. In a development countries, the low income may be the reason for the very low demand of the product. Such circumstances may even necessitate the development of a new low cost product. On the other hand, business will prosper in those economies which are highly developed and where investment and economy are rising. Second is structure of the economy. The structure of the economy encompasses factors such as contribute of different sectors like primary means that agriculture, secondary means industrial, and territory means service sector. Next is economic policy. Economic policy like industrial policy, trade policy, foreign policy, monetary policy, fiscal policy, and foreign investment and technology policy, etc., can exert high influence on business operations. With some enterprise get benefit out of the certain government policy, other may suffer. Thus, it can be inferred that all these factors make the economic environment of a business complex, and it has to formulate its own policy and for its survival. That's why we complete the concept of business environment.